Inbound season is upon us, everybody, so get ready because Inbound 2025 will bring together, once again, the brightest minds in marketing, sales, and AI to explore what's now and what's next. The event is taking place September 3rd to 5th at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, and this 3-day experience features inspiring keynotes, tactical breakout sessions, exclusive product reveals, and immersive workshops. You can network with industry leaders and gain actionable insights to implement immediately for your company. The speakers we got on the docket are great this year. We got Amy Poehler, Marquez Brownlee, Sean Evans, Glennon Doyle, and many others. You're not going to want to miss it. You can go to inbound.com/register to secure your spot at Inbound 2025. All right, good morning, everybody. Today's Wednesday, June 25th. I'm Jon Weigell here with Juliet Bennett, Ryla, and Mark Dent, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. The sauna business is, heating up. Saunas have existed for a very long time, but right now people are taking a special interest in them as places for socializing. So how is the sauna economy right now in the US, and where is it projected to go? We'll chat about that in a bit, but first, let's give you the news in business and tech. Take it away, Mark.
Thank you, John. Let's start today with a tale rooted in the 1990s. Two job-searching brands that soared in the original dot-com boom, Career Builder and Monster, which were united by a 2024 merger, filed for bankruptcy yesterday. Revenue fell 40% year over year, and these once proud trailblazers are now expected to sell their assets off in 3 chunks through the Chapter 11 process. The business of online job hunting has been slipping overall. Another leader in the space, Indeed, has laid off 3,000 employees since 2023. But that doesn't mean there's no winner here. LinkedIn has grown its annual revenue from $7 billion to $17 billion over the last 5 years. Speaking of jobs, more Americans are working multiple jobs now than at any time since 2008's Great Recession, according to the Wall Street Journal. So far in 2025, about 1 in 20 U.S. workers overall, but 4 in 10 millennials held more than one job. Is this a recession indicator? I think possibly so. Let's move on to some other economic news. Fed Chair Jerome Powell once again signaled the Fed isn't ready to cut interest rates just yet. Yesterday, Powell said the Fed wanted to, quote, wait to learn more about the likely course of the economy before considering any adjustments to our policy stance. Onward to a story about student loans. It could be a rough summer for millions who are behind on their loan payments. According to the Wall Street Journal, some 2 million Americans are at risk of default on their student loans and could soon have their wages garnished by the federal government. In fast food news, you may remember or have participated in an economic blackout earlier this year for the likes of Amazon, Walmart, or Target. Well, the latest business under boycott from the People's Union USA is now McDonald's. The group has called for a boycott of the Golden Arches as a mean of calling out price gouging and advocating for corporate responsibility. The boycott started yesterday and continues through next Monday. Okay, a quick entertainment story now. Should Ticketmaster watch out? The startup Punch Up Live raised a $2.3 million seed round to expand its stand-up comedy-focused ticketing and community platform, which connects comics and fans and offers all parties a way to bypass Ticketmaster. Punch Up Live will now also target music, magic, and live podcasts. And finally, the NBA draft is tonight. The number 1 overall pick, expected to be Duke University's Cooper Flagg, will be able to sign a contract worth as much as $62 million over the next 4 years. That is not a bad entry-level salary.
Okay, look, side hustles fail when they consume all of your time. I mean, every single bit of it. The pros, though, work smarter with AI doing all the heavy lifting. To help you out, we just dropped the Side Hustle Accelerator database. You can search your exact problem for your side hustle, grab the perfect prompt, and get results. If you're struggling with marketing, content, and customer service, it's all solved in just seconds. This isn't just another tool, guys. It's your unfair advantage in a spreadsheet. So stop asking AI the wrong questions and start scaling with what actually works. You can get it for free in the link in our show notes. And you can stop right now, actually. Why don't you take a look down at those show notes and tap the link. You don't want to sleep on this. All right. So saunas have been around for a very long time, but now they're a booming place for socializing. So, Juliet, what's happening in the sauna business right now?
Everybody's just getting together to hang out and sweat.
We love a group sweat together,
Yes.
allegedly. Yeah.
Now, to say that this is a new phenomenon, not quite accurate necessarily. It's kind of new in the UK and the US. Other cultures have been doing social saunas for a long time. In Finland, it's just like super part of the culture. It's like baked in. It's a regular activity.
Mhm.
When I lived in Koreatown, I was a big fan of the Korean spas and like
Oh, yeah.
any day, anytime, 24 hours, go sit in the cold room, sit in the hot room, I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
Americans, they don't really social sauna that much until lately. And that is why it's in the news now, is because it's kind of a new thing. I think it used to be if you had a sauna, or if you were going sauning, you were at a hotel,
Sure.
at a gym,
Mhm.
or trying to make a deal in the mob on a TV show. I feel like I saw that a lot on
Yes.
TV.
Those are the only like three purposes
Yeah.
that you would normally do. And the solo saunas and back, I feel like those are big in Finland of just like having your own
Yes.
personal, single, double person sauna, not for socializing, more for like the sauna part of the thing. But now
Right.
socializing seems to be the big deal in saunas.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's the economics of saunas right now? Let's talk that.
So apparently it is a larger business than I would have thought. Market research firm Grandview Research estimates the global sauna business will be worth $1.3 billion by 2030. Now, if you compare that to 2024, it was worth $905 million. That's per The Economist and per this data. So it is a growing business, and you're seeing a lot more of them. In the UK in 2023, there were 45 social saunas, and now there's 147. So that's a lot more and not a lot of time.
That is a lot. It seems like a large increase all the way to 2030 as well, with getting into the billions there globally. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I go to a sauna, maybe it's at a gym, maybe there's a lot of people there. And I think, honestly, the last thing I want to do when I go into a sauna is socialize with other nude men. So I wonder how exactly this is gaining traction and like what people actually do in these social saunas and how that works.
So actually, when I was reading about it, because I've never been to a social sauna, I have a steam room at the gym. And if I go in there, there's maybe one or two other people there. I do not talk to them. But I will say, when I used to go to the Korean spas, I would talk to people, and you'd just be hanging out naked in a mugwort tea bath, chatting about whatever. And it was kind of nice to just talk to the older women. It was actually really nice.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of reminds me of that Daybreaker dance party that I've read about that I also have not gone to.
Oh, I heard about that one too. Yeah, where you get up super, super early before work and you go to the club.
Yeah, you basically go to a rave and there's no alcohol.
Yeah.
You just, you have your chaga tea or whatever. So it very much feels to me like part of that wellness trend where you are moving away from loud, noisy bars and clubs and getting drunk, and you're doing these wellness activities together.
Right.
So, for example, there is a sauna business in New York, and it has a few other locations. I think Toronto is one. It's called Othership. And these sessions, they're not just I'm sitting in a sauna and sweating. They're guided experiences. You could do breathing sessions, all sorts of breath work. There might be aromatherapy. There might be live music. There might be group sharing sessions, which kind of sounds like therapy, and then you are, of course, staggering these with the ice baths. It's not like a sweat lodge. You are doing other things. I think this is something that I've seen in yoga before. I definitely used to live next to a yoga studio that would do, let's say, 40 minutes of the practice, and then there'd be a sound bath for 30 minutes, or
Sure.
you would journal for 20 minutes. So it kind of feels like an extension of that, only it's taking place in a sauna, which I think is the novel thing about it for Americans and people in the UK.
Mm-hmm. And I want to go back to something that you said before about that daybreak party situation, where I have been seeing quite a trend in New York specifically of people not exactly wanting to go out and drink anymore or go out and get drunk, but kind of more prefer to do things for wellness socially and meet up with their friends who are interested in a sport or interested in like pickleball or, things like that. And this seems like something that you can kind of add to the list of wellness variety and kind of third spaces that will exist in a lot of cities everywhere that don't involve alcohol.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting sort of time for this, because when you used to think about the third space, the place that you would go to hang out, that wasn't work, that wasn't your home, that used to be the coffee shop if you weren't drinking,
right?
Or the bookstore, which usually had a cafe or things like that. And now those things are dissipating. Post-pandemic, there's just not a lot of those places left, and a lot of those places have since pivoted to be less social. There are very few coffee shops or cafes that I have been to recently that have that sort of old school 90s hang out, listen to someone play the guitar, go to a book reading. They don't have that vibe anymore. They're loud and they're kind of like, get this super sugary weirdo drink and then Instagram it and then get the fuck out. Like that's what they feel like.
Yeah. And it will be $13. Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't know. That's just not what people are craving when it comes to how am I going to meet somebody. And I think the same thing is true in bars. Bars are loud. People aren't staying up late anymore. We all got used to having cozy times during the pandemic. And people just aren't drinking. So there is a very wide avenue, I think, for other forms of socialization. And this is something we've talked about on the podcast a lot. There are all of these apps designed to get people together who are having trouble making friends in a world that is increasingly remote, or, you know, even having trouble finding people to date and having to do it on apps, because where do you meet people anymore? So like, it's kind of surprising because I think our culture specifically, I mean, we don't think about hanging out naked with people because we feel it's weird. Like that is a weird cultural thing Americans have.
Right.
Like, you know, and I'm not saying that people are hanging out naked in the saunas. Most people wear towels. I think a lot of these, since they're more active, people are wearing like sports gear. But I just think we don't think of these things as being social, but maybe we should. Other cultures do. And this is the push we're having. So when you think about daytime raves, yeah, okay, why not? When you think about things that are even a little more familiar to us, board game meetups, chess clubs, like these are the things people are gravitating toward now. And I think for entrepreneurs and businesses that can kind of seize this moment and create these communal spaces, they're doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, those are getting a ton of popularity. The board game meetups with different meetups that don't involve alcohol and are for wellness, or for even cheaply priced things like these board game meetups happening in New York. A lot of them are free.
Right.
And you just go and hang out, that kind of scenario. So you don't even have to pay for like the $50 sauna wellness retreat type vibe if you don't want to. So I do like this pattern and trend of expanding the social idea behind let's go to a bar. So this is very exciting. I think this is a wonderful thing that we can do in the United States specifically, because I feel like everywhere else has been so on this already.
Yeah. And when you think about the cost of alcohol, you read it initially and you're like $45 and up to go hang out in a sauna for an hour and a half. But when you think about what it costs to go to a cocktail bar in New York or LA, I just recently went to somebody's birthday party and my boyfriend and I got 4 drinks, and plus tip, my tab was well over $100.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, it hovers around like 20 per person. So
right. And then you get a tip and you're tipping 20%. So I don't know. I can see a lot of reasons why these are taking off.
Yeah, agreed. All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We'll see you later. Okay, look, side hustles fail when they consume all of your time. I mean, every single bit of it. The pros, though, work smarter with AI doing all the heavy lifting. To help you out, we just dropped the Side Hustle Accelerator database. You can search your exact problem for your side hustle, grab the perfect prompt, and get results. If you're struggling with marketing, content, and customer service, it's all solved in just seconds. This isn't just another tool, guys. It's your unfair advantage in a spreadsheet. So stop asking AI the wrong questions and start scaling with what actually works. You can get it for free in the link in our show notes. And you can stop right now, actually. Why don't you take a look down at those show notes and tap the link? You don't want to sleep on this.